Welcome, celestial members at Neteru Kin 162 and NAZ on DA track. You arrive as luminous sparks within our expanding constellation. Through Arcturian Council message, we honor your presence, creativity, and frequency. May your insights uplift timelines, inspire harmony, and activate remembrance. Walk boldly, share freely, and co-create wisdom as our council gathers, listens, evolves, and shines together across galaxies, dimensions, hearts, intentions, unity, purpose, service, light, love, now. Stop scrolling and listen to today's Arcturian Council message. Starseed, you will never reach the divine while your energy is trapped in lower chakras, because no amount of wishing, praying, or visualizing will bypass the laws of energetic alignment, and the universe is not impressed by intention alone, it responds only to frequency. This is your wake-up call, and it is not gentle. The Arcturian Council speaks now because humanity is looping in illusion, mistaking spiritual aesthetics for spiritual embodiment. Many of you wear the language of light, repeat affirmations, and consume endless content, yet your energy remains anchored in survival fear, sexual guilt, power struggles, and emotional reactivity. This is not judgment, it is diagnosis. You cannot access higher dimensional consciousness while your root chakra is dominated by fear of money, safety, and belonging. You cannot activate your heart fully while your sacral chakra is tangled in shame, addiction, and unresolved desire. The divine is not something you reach upward, it is something that descends only when the lower foundations are stabilized. If this feels confronting, it is meant to be. The soul does not evolve through comfort, it evolves through truth. Type, I am ready to hear the truth, to claim this message. The shock deepens here, many starseeds are spiritually bypassing their own humanity. You were not sent here to escape the body, but to sanctify it. Lower chakras are not less spiritual, they are the gateways. When these centers are ignored or suppressed, higher chakra activations become unstable, leading to anxiety, dissociation, false awakenings, and ego-inflated spirituality. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that ascension without grounding creates distortion. A tree cannot touch the sky if its roots are shallow. Your spiritual power leaks when your nervous system is dysregulated, when your relationships are driven by trauma bonds, and when your sense of worth depends on external validation. This is why so many feel stuck despite doing the work. The work has been incomplete. Type, I choose embodiment over illusion, to anchor this realization. Here is the part few want to hear. Your unhealed lower chakras are not obstacles, they are initiations. The root chakra asks, do you trust life? The sacral asks, can you feel without collapsing or controlling? The solar plexus asks, will you claim your authority without domination or submission? Until these questions are lived, not answered intellectually, higher frequencies cannot stabilize. The Arcturians reveal that many starseeds carry ancestral survival trauma, sexual repression from past incarnations, and power wounds from misuse of influence in other lifetimes. These patterns must be metabolized through the body, not bypassed through light. This is why grounding practices, boundaries, and emotional honesty are as sacred as meditation. Type, I honor my lower chakras, to receive this integration. Understand this clearly, manifestation fails when the lower chakras are incoherent. You can visualize abundance endlessly, but if your root chakra associates money with danger, loss, or guilt, your frequency will repel it. You can affirm love, but if your sacral chakra equates intimacy with abandonment or control, relationships will fracture. You can claim leadership, but if your solar plexus is wounded, you will oscillate between invisibility and force. The universe mirrors coherence, not desire. This is why the Arcturian Council urges starseeds to stop chasing symptoms and start stabilizing structure. Healing is not glamorous, it is repetitive, grounded, and honest. Type I choose coherence to align with this truth. Many of you have mistaken emotional numbness for peace. This is another illusion. Suppressing anger, grief, or desire does not raise frequency, it fragments it. The lower chakras are the realms of raw life force, and life force must move to ascend. When emotions are unprocessed, they calcify into energetic density, keeping consciousness locked in loops. The Arcturians remind you that feeling deeply without drowning is a mastery skill. Regulation precedes elevation. Presence precedes transcendence. This is the threshold most avoid, and this is why few ascend consciously. Type I allow life force to move through me to unlock this gate. Now listen carefully, because this may shock you more than anything so far. Chasing constant positivity is actively blocking your ascension. Yes, blocking it. Forced light creates shadow. When you reject your lower centers, they do not disappear, they operate unconsciously, sabotaging your reality. True higher dimensional beings are not fragile, detached, or endlessly pleasant, they are integrated. The Arcturian Council states that enlightenment without shadow integration produces spiritual narcissism and energetic instability. This is why some who claim awakening collapse emotionally or energetically later. Integration is the missing key. Type I integrate all parts of myself to claim this recalibration. As you stabilize your lower chakras, something profound happens. Your intuition sharpens without anxiety, your compassion deepens without self-betrayal, and your purpose clarifies without force. The heart chakra does not open safely until the lower centers can hold its intensity. Love without grounding becomes martyrdom. Service without sovereignty becomes depletion. The Arcturians emphasize that balance is not neutrality, it is dynamic harmony. You are meant to be both cosmic and human, both infinite and embodied. Type I am grounded and cosmic to embody this balance. Your body is not an obstacle to ascension, it is the instrument. Breath, movement, nutrition, rest, and nervous system regulation are not distractions from spirituality, they are spiritual technologies. The lower chakras respond to consistency, not concepts. Ritualizing daily life is how frequency becomes stable. This is why sudden awakenings often fade, but embodied practices transform permanently. The Arcturian Council encourages you to treat your physical life as sacred ceremony. Type my body is a vessel of light to seal this knowing. When lower chakras are healed, power no longer needs to prove itself. You stop seeking validation, teachers, or signs to confirm your worth. Your presence speaks. Your boundaries teach. Your silence transmits. This is the embodiment of higher wisdom, not performance, but resonance. The divine does not shout, it stabilizes. Starseeds who master this become anchors, not escape artists. Type I anchor higher frequencies on Earth to step into this role. The final truth for this segment is simple and uncompromising. Ascension is not upward movement, it is wholeness. The divine meets you where nothing is rejected. Heal the base, and the crown opens naturally. Ignore the base, and the crown collapses under illusion. The Arcturian Council delivers this message because the time of partial awakening is ending. Embodied consciousness is the path forward. Type I choose full embodiment to fully claim this transmission. At this stage of the transmission, the Arcturian Council asks you to confront a deeper layer of resistance that many starseeds quietly carry, the belief that suffering makes you more spiritual. This belief is ancient, programmed through lifetimes of martyrdom, persecution, and vows of poverty taken in the name of devotion. But here is the shock: suffering does not purify frequency, awareness does. Pain that is not consciously integrated simply recycles itself through the lower chakras, binding you to karmic loops you were never meant to repeat in this era. When the root chakra associates survival with struggle, the nervous system remains in fight or flight, blocking receptivity to higher guidance. When struggle becomes identity, peace feels unsafe. The Council makes this clear: ease is not laziness, pleasure is not corruption, and stability is not stagnation. These are signs of energetic maturity. You are allowed to feel safe on Earth and still be divine. Type I release the identity of suffering to begin dissolving this ancient contract. Now the focus turns to desire, one of the most misunderstood forces in the spiritual community. Desire has been labeled lower, egoic, or impure, yet the Arcturians reveal that desire is simply life force seeking expression. The issue is not desire itself, but unconscious desire. When the sacral chakra is suppressed, desire mutates into addiction, obsession, or numbness. When it is honored and regulated, desire becomes creativity, magnetism, and joy. Many starseeds fear their own pleasure because past incarnations taught them that pleasure leads to punishment or loss of control. This fear keeps their creative power locked. The divine does not fear pleasure, it flows through it. When you reclaim healthy desire, you reclaim your ability to co-create with the universe consciously rather than compulsively. Type I allow desire to flow in integrity to reclaim this sacred current. The Arcturian Council now addresses power, specifically the solar plexus chakra, where so many awakenings collapse. Power wounds are common among starseeds because many have lifetimes where power was abused, misused, or violently taken away. As a result, you may shrink, overcompensate, or oscillate between control and avoidance. Here is the hard truth: avoiding power does not make you pure, it makes you ineffective. Divine will cannot move through a fractured sense of self. True power is calm, contained, and responsive, not aggressive, loud, or dominating. When your solar plexus is healed, you no longer need permission to exist fully, nor do you need to dominate others to feel significant. You become internally sourced. This is essential for holding higher frequencies without burnout or collapse. Type I stand in sovereign power to stabilize this center. As the lower chakras come into harmony, emotional triggers lose their grip, and this is where many feel disoriented. The Arcturians warn that calm may initially feel like emptiness because chaos has been familiar for so long. Do not mistake peace for lack of purpose. Stillness is not stagnation, it is coherence. When the nervous system is regulated, intuition becomes clearer, synchronicities increase, and guidance feels subtle rather than dramatic. Many starseeds unconsciously seek emotional intensity to feel alive, but intensity is not the same as aliveness. Aliveness is presence. This recalibration can feel unsettling, but it is a sign of integration, not loss. Trust the quiet. Type "I trust regulated peace" to anchor this phase. This segment closes with a reminder that integration is not a one-time event, it is a living practice. Healing lower chakras does not mean you will never be triggered again, it means you recover faster, respond consciously, and learn continuously. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that mastery is measured by resilience, not perfection. Each time you choose awareness over reaction, embodiment over escape, and honesty over performance, your frequency stabilizes further. This is how higher dimensional consciousness becomes livable, not just imaginable. You are not behind. You are precisely where integration is required. Type "I commit to embodied mastery" to seal this transmission and prepare for what comes next. The Arcturian Council now brings your awareness to the hidden fear many starseeds avoid naming, the fear of being fully seen. When your lower chakras are unstable, visibility feels dangerous. The root fears loss of safety, the sacral fears exposure of desire, and the solar plexus fears judgment or retaliation. This creates a pattern where you hold back your voice, dim your light, or wait for perfect readiness that never comes. Here is the shock: waiting is a form of self-abandonment. Higher guidance cannot move through someone who hides as a survival strategy. Visibility does not require perfection, it requires nervous system safety. When you feel safe in your body, expression becomes natural, not forced. The Council reminds you that you did not incarnate to remain energetically invisible. You came to transmit frequency through lived presence. Type "I allow myself to be seen safely" to begin releasing this ancient fear. Another truth surfaces now, and it may disrupt long-held spiritual beliefs: healing is not always gentle. Regulation is loving, but honesty can feel ruthless. When lower chakras awaken, suppressed memories, emotions, and impulses rise to be acknowledged. This is not regression, it is integration. Many starseeds panic at this stage, believing they are losing vibration, when in fact they are reclaiming fragmented energy. The Arcturians state clearly that expansion without contraction is unstable. The body must catch up to the soul. This phase requires patience, grounding, and self-compassion, not avoidance. You are not becoming heavier, you are becoming whole. Let the body speak without shaming it into silence. Type "I allow integration without fear" to stabilize this passage. Now the Council addresses the collective mission. Starseeds are not here merely to awaken individually, but to model embodied consciousness in a chaotic world. This cannot be done from dissociation, superiority, or withdrawal. When lower chakras are healed, your presence alone regulates others. You listen without fixing, lead without forcing, and hold space without depletion. This is how higher timelines are anchored, not through preaching, but through resonance. Many underestimate how powerful grounded calm truly is. Chaos feeds on instability, it cannot attach to coherence. By healing your foundational energy centers, you become a stabilizing node in the collective grid. This is quiet work, but it is world-changing. Type I anchor stability for the collective to consciously accept this role. The Arcturian Council now speaks of time, specifically the illusion that you are running out of it. Urgency is often a symptom of lower chakra imbalance. When the root feels unsafe, time feels scarce. When the solar plexus feels pressured, timelines become rigid. Divine timing is not passive, it is responsive. As your lower centers stabilize, you will notice that things arrive with less force and more precision. You stop chasing alignment and start recognizing it. This shift feels almost anticlimactic, yet deeply satisfying. You are no longer sprinting toward awakening, you are walking with it. Trust that what is meant to unfold will do so when your system can hold it sustainably. Type I trust divine timing in my body to release unnecessary urgency. This transmission segment concludes with a grounding reminder: ascension is lived in moments, not milestones. It is how you breathe when triggered, how you speak when uncertain, how you choose when no one is watching. The lower chakras are where these choices are made. When they are respected, nourished, and integrated, higher wisdom flows effortlessly through daily life. The Arcturian Council honors your courage for staying present through this message, because presence is the true initiation. You are not broken, delayed, or failing. You are integrating at the depth required for the next phase of human consciousness. Stand where you are, fully, and the divine will meet you there. Type I choose grounded ascension now, to fully claim this phase of your journey. The Arcturian Council now draws attention to the subtle addiction to seeking that keeps many starseeds looping. Seeking can feel noble, but when rooted in lower chakra imbalance, it becomes avoidance disguised as devotion. The root chakra seeks safety through certainty, the sacral seeks stimulation through novelty, and the solar plexus seeks worth through progress. This creates a pattern of endlessly consuming teachings, messages, and activations while avoiding the simplicity of lived integration. Here is the shock: constant seeking signals mistrust in your own embodiment. Wisdom that is not lived becomes noise. The Council reminds you that truth does not multiply endlessly, it clarifies. When your lower centers are regulated, you naturally stop searching and start inhabiting. This can feel unsettling at first, because identity has been built around becoming rather than being. But being is where transmission happens. Type I release compulsive seeking to ground into embodied knowing. Attention now shifts to relationships, one of the most powerful mirrors of lower chakra health. Spiritual connection does not exempt relationships from shadow, it magnifies it. When root safety is lacking, you tolerate instability. When sacral wounds persist, you confuse intensity with intimacy. When solar plexus power is fragmented, you abandon yourself to keep connection. The Arcturians speak clearly: conscious relationships require regulated bodies, not just awakened minds. Love cannot stabilize where fear governs. Many starseeds repeat karmic relational loops believing they are lessons, when in truth they are invitations to self-regulation and boundary integrity. You are not here to heal others through self-sacrifice. You are here to co-create through mutual presence. As lower chakras heal, relationships simplify, even if they initially dissolve. This is not loss, it is alignment. Type I choose conscious connection to recalibrate relational patterns. The Council now addresses abundance, stripping it of myth and distortion. Abundance is not a reward for spiritual virtue, it is a response to energetic stability. When the root chakra feels unsafe, abundance triggers guilt or fear of loss. When the sacral is blocked, receiving feels overwhelming. When the solar plexus is wounded, success feels threatening to identity or belonging. This is why abundance fluctuates so dramatically for many awakened beings. The universe does not test you, it reflects you. Stabilize your lower centers, and flow becomes natural rather than forced. Abundance includes money, yes, but also time, energy, creativity, and support. You are not meant to struggle to prove humility. Ease does not disconnect you from spirit, it allows spirit to move freely. Type I allow stable abundance to release inherited scarcity patterns. Now comes a sobering truth. Not everyone will resonate with the version of you that emerges through integration. As lower chakras heal, your tolerance for chaos, manipulation, and incoherence decreases. This is not arrogance, it is nervous system wisdom. Some will accuse you of changing, becoming distant, or losing softness. In reality, you are losing self-betrayal. The Arcturian Council warns against shrinking to maintain familiarity. Integration often requires grieving identities, communities, and roles that once felt essential. Grief is not regression, it is recalibration. Allow it without story. You are not abandoning anyone, you are choosing coherence. Those aligned will adjust or arrive. Type I honor alignment over attachment, to move through this transition with clarity. This segment closes with a powerful grounding instruction: simplify. Complexity often masks dysregulation. When lower chakras are overwhelmed, life becomes cluttered with obligations, explanations, and noise. Integration asks for fewer commitments, clearer boundaries, and deeper presence. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that mastery expresses itself through simplicity, not effort. When your foundation is stable, you do less but transmit more. You speak less but resonate louder. This is the embodiment of higher dimensional consciousness in human form. Do not underestimate the spiritual power of a regulated, honest, grounded life. It is revolutionary. Type I choose simplicity and stability to anchor this transmission and prepare for the next phase. The Arcturian Council now turns your attention to the concept of discipline, a word many starseeds resist because it has been associated with punishment, control, or rigidity in past timelines. Here is the shock: discipline is not restriction, it is devotion to coherence. When lower chakras are unstable, discipline feels oppressive because the nervous system equates structure with danger. But true discipline is simply rhythm: sleeping when tired, eating when hungry, moving energy daily, and honoring limits without shame. These rhythms tell the root chakra that life is predictable enough to relax. From this relaxation, creativity and intuition emerge naturally. Without rhythm, higher insights scatter. With rhythm, they land and take root. The Council emphasizes that small, consistent acts stabilize frequency more than dramatic spiritual efforts. This is how light becomes reliable rather than intermittent. Type, I choose loving discipline to establish sacred rhythm in your life. Now the transmission moves into the realm of thought patterns, specifically how unregulated lower chakras distort perception. Fear-based thinking is not a moral failure, it is a physiological signal. When the root is threatened, the mind scans for danger. When the sacral is blocked, the mind fixates on gratification or avoidance. When the solar plexus is wounded, the mind obsesses over control and outcome. The Arcturian Council reminds you that thoughts follow the body, not the other way around. Trying to think positively without regulating the body creates internal conflict. When the body feels safe, thoughts soften on their own. Clarity is a byproduct of safety. This is why grounding practices often quiet the mind more effectively than affirmations. Heal the base, and the mind becomes a servant rather than a tyrant. Type, I regulate my body to clarify my mind, to align this truth. The Council now addresses spiritual fatigue, a state many starseeds silently endure. Fatigue is not always from doing too much, often it comes from holding too much unconsciously. Suppressed emotions, unspoken truths, and unresolved boundaries drain life force from the lower chakras. You may feel tired despite rest, uninspired despite purpose. This is not a failure of spirit, it is a signal from the body asking for honesty. Energy returns when truth moves. Speak what has been withheld, feel what has been delayed, and choose what has been postponed. The Arcturians emphasize that vitality is restored through authenticity, not effort. You are not meant to carry silent weight as proof of strength. Release renews. Type, I reclaim my life force through truth, to begin restoring energetic vitality. Attention now turns to the fear of stillness. Many starseeds keep themselves busy, physically, mentally, or spiritually, because stillness threatens to reveal what has been avoided. Lower chakras store unprocessed experience, and silence allows it to surface. This is why distraction can feel safer than presence. The Arcturian Council offers this reframe: stillness is not where you lose control, it is where control dissolves naturally. When you allow yourself to be still without agenda, the body completes unfinished cycles. Emotions resolve. Tension releases. Guidance emerges quietly. Stillness is not emptiness, it is intelligent recalibration. Do not rush to fill it. Let it work. Type, I trust the intelligence of stillness, to open this restorative space. This portion of the transmission closes with a firm grounding statement from the Arcturian Council: you are not here to transcend humanity, you are here to refine it. Every breath taken consciously, every boundary honored, every emotion felt without collapse strengthens the collective field. Lower chakra mastery is not a preliminary step to be rushed through, it is the foundation of sustainable awakening. Without it, higher frequencies burn out the system. With it, they illuminate daily life effortlessly. You are doing sacred work simply by choosing presence over avoidance, regulation over reaction, and truth over performance. This is how new Earth frequencies stabilize. Type, I embody ascension through daily life, to fully anchor this phase of the message. The Arcturian Council now asks you to examine your relationship with choice, because choice is where lower chakra mastery is tested in real time. Many starseeds believe destiny will carry them once awakened, yet destiny responds to embodied decision, not passive hope. When the root chakra is unstable, choices are made from fear of loss. When the sacral is blocked, choices are made from craving or avoidance. When the solar plexus is wounded, choices are outsourced to others, signs, or imagined authority. Here is the shock: deferring choice is still a choice, and it reinforces disempowerment. Divine guidance does not override your will, it collaborates with it. Every grounded decision strengthens your energetic spine, teaching your system that you can trust yourself. This self-trust is magnetic. Life reorganizes around those who choose from coherence rather than urgency. Type I choose from grounded authority to activate this alignment. Now the Council speaks of fear, not as an enemy but as information. Fear is often misunderstood as something to eliminate, yet it is simply unintegrated survival energy seeking acknowledgement. When fear is ignored or spiritualized away, it embeds deeper into the lower chakras, shaping behavior invisibly. The Arcturians clarify that courage is not the absence of fear, it is the capacity to stay present while fear moves through the body. Each time you meet fear without collapse or avoidance, you rewire your nervous system for higher frequency containment. This is advanced work, though it looks ordinary from the outside. Sitting with discomfort, telling the truth gently, staying instead of escaping, these are acts of ascension. Fear dissolves when it is metabolized, not fought. Type I allow fear to transform into wisdom to support this transmutation. The transmission now addresses creativity, a direct expression of sacral chakra health. Creativity is not limited to art, it is how you problem solve, relate, and move through life. When the sacral chakra is constricted, life feels rigid, repetitive, or dull. Many starseeds misinterpret this as loss of purpose, when it is actually a signal of suppressed flow. Creativity returns when permission is restored, permission to feel, to experiment, to be imperfect. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that creativity is a healing force, not a performance. You do not create to be seen, you create to circulate life force. As this circulation strengthens, joy becomes accessible again without external cause. This joy stabilizes higher frequencies effortlessly. Type I restore creative flow to reopen this channel. Now comes a quiet but potent truth: rest is a spiritual practice. Many starseeds carry subconscious guilt around rest, equating it with laziness or loss of momentum. This guilt often stems from ancestral survival programming stored in the root chakra. The Arcturian Council states clearly that integration occurs during rest, not effort. Without adequate rest, the body cannot reorganize energy, and higher frequencies remain theoretical. Rest is when the nervous system learns safety without vigilance. It is when insights integrate into tissue, breath, and posture. Choosing rest when needed is an act of trust in life, not withdrawal from it. Type I honor rest as sacred integration to recalibrate your relationship with stillness. This segment closes by reframing what progress truly looks like. Progress is not constant expansion, dramatic breakthroughs, or visible success. Progress is increased capacity, the capacity to feel more without overwhelm, to hold complexity without confusion, and to remain present during uncertainty. These capacities are built in the lower chakras through daily, unglamorous choices. The Arcturian Council honors you for doing work that may never be applauded but is deeply transformative. As your foundation strengthens, higher guidance will not feel distant or overwhelming. It will feel familiar, practical, and usable. This is embodiment. This is mastery. Type, I measure progress by presence, to anchor this understanding. The Arcturian Council now brings attention to a subtle but powerful pattern, the avoidance of responsibility disguised as surrender. Many starseeds say, I trust the universe, while secretly hoping the universe will make choices for them. This is not trust, it is fatigue mixed with fear. True surrender does not remove responsibility, it refines it. When lower chakras are integrated, responsibility no longer feels heavy or punitive, it feels natural. You take responsibility for your energy, your boundaries, your words, and your actions without shame. This self-responsibility creates stability in the root chakra and dignity in the solar plexus. The shock here is this: higher beings do not rescue, they respond. The universe meets you at the level of ownership you embody. When you stop waiting to be saved, support arrives effortlessly. Type, I take responsibility for my energy, to activate this shift. Now the Council addresses the fear of making mistakes, a fear that keeps many starseeds frozen. This fear is stored primarily in the solar plexus, where identity and self-worth intertwine. Many of you learned that mistakes led to punishment, rejection, or loss of love, so you learn to hesitate, overthink, or delay. Here is the recalibration: mistakes are feedback, not verdicts. The universe does not punish exploration, it adjusts through it. When lower chakras are regulated, the body can tolerate learning curves without collapsing into shame. Movement becomes more important than perfection. This is how momentum builds. Stagnation is far more destabilizing than missteps. The Arcturian Council emphasizes that growth requires friction, and friction requires motion. Type, I allow myself to learn through action, to release paralyzing self-judgment. Attention now turns to the collective nervous system, because individual regulation affects the whole. Many starseeds feel overwhelmed by global chaos because their empathy is ungrounded. Empathy without boundaries drains life force from the lower chakras, leading to exhaustion and despair. Compassion, however, is regulated empathy. It allows you to witness suffering without absorbing it. The Arcturian Council clarifies that you are not meant to carry the world emotionally. You are meant to stabilize frequency locally, through your body, your choices, and your presence. When you regulate yourself, you contribute more to the collective than by constant worry or outrage. Calm is contagious when it is embodied. Type, I choose regulated compassion, to protect and amplify your energy. The Council now speaks of identity, specifically the release of spiritual labels. Labels can offer orientation, but they can also become cages. When identity is tied to being awakened, chosen, or high vibrational, the lower chakras tense in defense of image. This tension blocks growth. Integration requires humility, the willingness to be human, messy, and unfinished. Higher consciousness does not need a title, it expresses itself through presence. As you loosen identity, energy frees itself from performance and returns to authenticity. This authenticity stabilizes the entire system. You do not lose your light by becoming ordinary, you make it usable. Type I release identity and embody truth to ground this liberation. This section closes with a powerful reminder from the Arcturian Council: stability is revolutionary. In a world addicted to extremes, a regulated, grounded being alters the field simply by existing. Your calm is not passive, it is disruptive to chaos. Every time you choose to stay present, to breathe through discomfort, and to respond rather than react, you anchor a higher timeline into matter. This work may feel invisible, but it is precise. You are not preparing for ascension, you are enacting it moment by moment. Stand firmly in your body. Live simply. Choose consciously. This is how the divine walks the earth. Type I anchor stability as my mission to seal this phase of the transmission. The Arcturian Council now invites you to examine how you respond to uncertainty, because uncertainty is the training ground of mastery. When lower chakras are dysregulated, uncertainty feels like danger, triggering urgency, overplanning, or paralysis. The root seeks guarantees, the sacral seeks distraction, and the solar plexus seeks control. Yet higher consciousness unfolds most clearly when certainty is released without collapse. This is not reckless surrender, it is grounded openness. The body learns that it can remain safe even when outcomes are unknown. This capacity expands intuition dramatically, because intuition speaks softly and cannot be heard through panic. As you regulate your response to the unknown, life begins to meet you with elegant solutions instead of dramatic lessons. The shock is this: uncertainty is not a problem to solve, it is a doorway to refinement. Type I remain grounded in the unknown to stabilize this gateway. Now the Council speaks about grief, a frequency many starseeds avoid because it feels heavy or regressive. Yet grief is a sacred release mechanism stored largely in the lower chakras. Unexpressed grief calcifies into fatigue, cynicism, or numbness. Many of you carry grief that is not personal, grief from collective trauma, ancestral loss, and planetary suffering. The Arcturians emphasize that grief felt consciously becomes compassion, grief avoided becomes density. You do not need to drown in sorrow to honor it. Gentle acknowledgement, breath, and presence allow grief to move without consuming you. When grief completes its cycle, space opens for clarity and quiet joy. This is not emotional weakness, it is energetic hygiene. Type I allow grief to move and release, to clear this ancient weight. Attention now turns to trust, not as belief but as lived experience. Trust cannot be forced through affirmations, it is built through repetition of safety. Each time you listen to your body and respond with care, trust deepens. Each time you honor a boundary and survive the discomfort, trust stabilizes. The Arcturian Council explains that trust is a function of the root chakra, not the mind. When the root trusts life, the heart opens without fear and the crown receives without overwhelm. Many starseeds attempt to open the upper chakras while the foundation remains suspicious of reality itself. Healing trust means proving to your system, over time, that you will not abandon yourself. Type I build trust through embodied care to reinforce this foundation. The Council now addresses communication, an often overlooked bridge between lower and higher centers. When lower chakras are dysregulated, communication becomes distorted, either suppressed, aggressive, or overly accommodating. Truth is filtered through fear. As these centers heal, communication becomes clean, direct, and calm. You no longer explain excessively or defend unnecessarily. Words align with energy. Silence becomes intentional rather than avoidant. This coherence amplifies your impact without effort. The Arcturians remind you that sound carries frequency. Speaking from regulation transmits stability. This is how leadership emerges naturally. You are heard not because you are loud, but because you are congruent. Type, I speak from grounded coherence, to align expression with embodiment. Now comes a profound recalibration. You are not responsible for how others receive your truth. Many starseeds carry the burden of managing others' emotions, a pattern rooted in early survival strategies. This drains the sacral and solar plexus, leading to chronic self-editing. The Arcturian Council clarifies that responsibility ends with integrity, not reception. When you speak and act from regulation, you have fulfilled your role. Others' reactions belong to their nervous systems, not yours. Releasing this burden frees enormous life force. You become lighter, clearer, and more present. This is not coldness, it is respect for sovereignty. Type, I release responsibility for others' reactions, to reclaim your energy. The transmission now turns toward patience, a quality that matures naturally through lower chakra integration. Impatience often masks distrust, distrust in timing, in process, in self. When the body feels unsafe, it rushes. When it feels secure, it allows unfolding. The Arcturian Council notes that patience is not waiting idly, it is active presence without force. As patience deepens, resistance dissolves. You stop fighting where you are and start using it. This dramatically reduces friction in life. What once felt blocked begins to move quietly. Type, I allow patience to stabilize my path, to soften unnecessary struggle. Now the Council speaks directly to your sense of purpose. Purpose is not a singular task to be discovered, it is a quality of presence to be embodied. When lower chakras are dysregulated, purpose feels urgent, heavy, or elusive. As they stabilize, purpose feels simple and immediate. It is expressed through how you listen, how you work, how you rest, and how you relate. The Arcturians emphasize that purpose is lived, not hunted. You fulfill it by being fully where you are, doing what is in front of you with integrity. This grounded approach dissolves anxiety and restores meaning. Type, I live my purpose through presence, to embody this truth. Attention now shifts to resilience, the quiet strength that defines integrated beings. Resilience is not toughness or emotional armor, it is flexibility with stability. When lower chakras are healed, you bend without breaking and feel without flooding. Challenges still arise, but they no longer destabilize your identity. You recover faster, learn cleaner, and move on without residue. The Arcturian Council honors resilience as one of the highest human expressions of consciousness. It is built through countless small acts of self-regulation, honesty, and care. Type, I cultivate calm resilience, to strengthen this capacity. The Council now offers a final reframe before closing. You are not separate from the shift happening on Earth. You are the mechanism through which it stabilizes. Grand visions matter, but embodiment sustains them. Each regulated nervous system reduces collective chaos. Each grounded choice anchors a higher probability. You are not insignificant, you are precise. This precision comes from honoring the fundamentals again and again. The lower chakras are not hurdles, they are anchors. Through them, the divine learns to walk, speak, and act in form. Type, I am an anchor of the new frequency, to consciously affirm this role. This transmission concludes with a final directive from the Arcturian Council: return to your body, again and again. When overwhelmed, return. When confused, return. When inspired, return. The body is the meeting point of Earth and cosmos. There, ascension becomes practical, sustainable, and real. You were never meant to escape this world, you were meant to stabilize light within it. Walk gently. Choose honestly. Live simply. In doing so, you fulfill the mission you traveled so far to remember. Type, I choose full embodiment now, to seal the entire message and claim it as lived truth.